Hello, everybody. We are officially live inside our Regulated Woman Entrepreneur group. Let me make sure that I'm actually live. Give me just a second. Sometimes technology is so much fun. So give me just a second. Okay, perfect. There I am. Let me turn myself down. Okay, cool. Okay. Today we are talking about 3 essentials that every regulated CEO needs in her business. You're here because you have just started your business, or you've been doing this for a while, but you've really been struggling with creating consistency within your business. Now, this can look like maybe you've gone MIA for a while, which I have done. Maybe you have switched and pivoted inside your business so many times. I've done that. Or maybe you're really just starting out and the tools or the tips and the resources that you've been told to use are not actually working inside your business. For example, commenting on follow for follow Facebook threads inside the groups, or commenting in threads where it says promote your business. Okay, those things, they are busy work. They're not essentially helping you push your business forward. So if you're here, you probably have experienced those things. You're also here because you want consistency, you want clarity, but you also want sustainability, and you want to be able to be calm and not feel like everything is so overwhelming and so chaotic, and not feel like your emotions are taking over your business, which is truly a real possibility. Especially, sorry about that, I am getting messages like crazy right now. Okay, so you might be having those experiences, which really doesn't feel good, right? You want to be able to ride out no matter what, right? No matter how you're feeling, no matter what's going on in your personal life, and you want it to be built up so that you feel like you're not really spinning your wheels all the time. This is what this is about. And this masterclass, if you will, is going to go into 3 essentials inside your business, but we're going to go a little bit further than that. If you're new to me, I'm Angela, and I help women entrepreneurs become regulated CEOs so that their income is predictable and not accidental. And I do this I do this by teaching you business foundations and healing visibility wounds. I have a background in helping women heal trauma. And so I have actually helped women heal sexual abuse for a very long time. It was roughly 5 years. And then recently I have actually switched into helping women become regulated CEOs with foundations and healing visibility wounds. And because I feel like there's a huge gap, because the truth is that if you're not implementing a strategy, or you're not committed to your strategy, it's showing us that there's visibility wounds. If you have adverse experiences and a volatile upbringing and trauma in your background, and you're attempting to run a business, but you're always starting and stopping, that's actually showing us that there are signs of visibility wounds. Healing is going to be so important, and as an entrepreneur, there is going to be every insecurity that gets pulled up for you. Now, I want you to be aware of that, because there's so much out there in the online space that I just don't agree with, that has really kind of made being an online entrepreneur a quick fix, a get-rich scheme, and just kind of like living in a fantasy land. And do I want you to be delusional? Yes. I want you to be delusional enough to start, but I don't want you to think that living in delusional land and just, riding in our feminine energy and not really doing anything and manifesting clients is actually how it works, because it's not fucking how it works. Okay, and I just really have gotten to the point where there's just so much BS out there, and I feel like it's only hurting especially women more and more, right? So because you want an impact, you want to do what you can. And so I feel like a lot of online tips and tricks are just not serving people. So, okay, let's get into this because I'm super excited to talk about this. I love talking about this. And if you're on, let me know that you're on. If you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. Okay, let me get a little drink. So here are some essentials that you don't need to start a business, that you don't need to keep running a business no matter where you're at, which stage in your business that you are, okay? So let me get this so it stops turning up. Okay. Things that you don't need. Number one, you don't need a website. I know that so many women are building websites before they get started. I have done this before, okay? And what happens is that as you're really working on evolving your business, as you've been working with clients for a while, your messaging changes, your logos change, your ethos and your values and the way you look aesthetically, it changes. So I do not recommend that a website is the first thing that you do, because you will spend so much time and energy and resources in building your website to not end up using it. So you don't need a website to get started. Absolutely not. You don't need it. And if you're thinking that you do need it to get started, I want you to kind of look at what it is that you're trying to avoid with doing busy work, because that's essentially what it is. Eventually, you want to be in a space where you can hire a professional, you have all your messaging down, and basically you're just running a machine at that point. That's the goal with that. Number two, you don't need to be on every platform. Now, I know that Gary Vee says otherwise, that you should be on every single platform. You should be posting, 15 to 17 times a day on each platform and all of those things. Okay. I am a single mom. I have a child with epilepsy. I have to run a business and actually work with my clients and do all those things. I don't have time to be on every platform. Have I tried that before? Yes, I have. Okay, give me just a second. I'm inside the group and I am live. Okay, I'm on my laptop. Okay, again, you don't need to, I wonder if I can just drop the link. Does that work? I've never actually just dropped the link. Oops. Oh. Let me see this. Sorry. Okay. I've never just dropped the link before. I hope that works. Okay. So you don't need to be on every platform. What I recommend is that you are on one platform that you spend the most time on, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. What you really need to decide is where you're doubling down on. Okay, so what does that mean? Based on your analytics, based on your traction, based on your leads, based on how many clients are coming, that is the platform that you want to be on. So for me, even though I've done TikTok a few times or whatever, but over the last 9 months, I've been posting consistently. But based on the data, based on the information that I've looked into, right? Social media analytics, leads, potential clients that come from there, comments, engagement, all of those things, right? If it's not delivering what it needs to deliver for me, then it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. When I look at Instagram and I look at Facebook, this is where I'm getting all of my leads. This is where I'm getting all of my clients. This is where I'm having all of my conversations. So for me, I'm doubling down on the spaces where it's already delivering what it is that I need. Potential business, engagement, leads, and conversations. And so you really want to look at the data, not necessarily how you're feeling, but I want you to look at the data. Do you really need to be on every platform? And if you feel like you need to be on every platform, are you doing it so that you're stretched so thin you end up burning out, which is essentially a visibility wound? Or do you want to be on every platform because it's making you feel alive, you absolutely love it, and it's helping you secure the business that you truly need? Now, I understand that with when we're looking at analytics, right, we're looking at engagement, we're looking at how many views and things like that, and people talk about, okay, those are just vanity metrics. But the reality of it is that when you've been struggling with your business for a while, or you've started and stopped your business, or you've just started your business, that engagement, those vanity metrics, they really do keep you committed to showing up on social media. So you really want to see them as just numbers and what's working. And if there's platforms that are just not working for you, no matter what you do, kiss it goodbye. Just let it go. It will be okay, because eventually you'll be in a place where you can hire a social media team and they can take it on for you. But right now, you don't necessarily need to be on every platform. You need to be on the platforms that are actually working for you, regardless of what people say. Okay, let's go into number 3 that you don't need to be doing. You do not need to be posting on the follow for follow threads inside the Facebook groups. I know that these posts are so freaking popular. They're like, okay, if your business is less than 10,000 followers, your business page or your profile or whatever is less than 10,000 followers, comment below for follow. And what ends up happening is you post, right? You comment your profile, and then other people come in and then they comment their profile, and then you start following people and then they start following you. This is how this works. The reality is that they are not a target audience. They are not your ideal clients most of the time, and they are not necessarily there for them to eventually be a client and invest in your programs, your products, whatever it is that you have going on inside your business. They're there for the raw to support women and elevate them and do this follow for follow, which is great. It does help you for a small period of time where they realize that, oh, okay, this is the person that I followed for the follow for follow. Now I'm going to engage and comment and do these things and support them. And then you do the same thing, and it works for about a few weeks, and then it slows down. Then what happens is that it has your algorithm and your engagement so messed up you don't even know what's going on, and then you're not hitting your ideal clients. You're not talking to people that really want your program either. And so that really causes a derail in what it is that you're working on, yes, but it also creates disencouragement. Is that even a word? It also disheartens you, right? You don't want to move forward. How was it possible that you had all this engagement and all this stuff happening only for it to trickle down within weeks? And it's because it's not sustainable that way, and that's not a real strategy. I know that you want to believe that it is, but it's absolutely not, and it's only hurting your business. So no more follow for follow threads. They do not actually work. And what it's actually signaling to other coaches is that you don't have a strategy every time you're commenting in there, or you've been told that commenting on there is how you actually get leads and get clients, and it's not. It doesn't work. And I know, because I've done it for years, and it did not freaking work. Okay, let's talk about 3 other essentials. So 3 essentials that you absolutely need to get started or get moving, or move things along within your business. And the first thing is that you need a way to take payments. So whether this is Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Stripe, however else you're going to take money, Zelle you can even use, however you're going to take money, That's all you really need. You only need that because, again, we've already talked about a website that is just such an overuse and a waste of your time and energy and resources at that point. You really just need to have a platform where you can take payment. This opens you up to be able to talk to people, to have people come into your lead generation on repeat because you have this available. Being able to use these apps or these platforms is going to be so essential, but they're also extremely easy to use now. Okay, when I first started my business in 2017, they were so hard to use, but life is so different now, so they're really easy to use. PayPal, I feel like, is one of the easiest platforms to use. You can invoice people, you can send them a link, they can click the link, you have a link that they can just use. It's all encompassing. And so don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. You just need a way to take payments, no matter what that looks like. I've used Venmo before, I've used Zelle before, I've used PayPal, I use Stripe, all of those things. It's all very possible. You just need to make a decision on what you feel more comfortable using. So that's your first essential that you need. The second thing that you need is a plan and a strategy, which is also known as your business plan. The business plan is something that we go deep into inside the implementation program that we're actually starting on June 15th. The reason why your business plan is so essential, yet not enough coaches talk about it, is because your business plan is going to help you from is going to prevent you from overwhelm, it's going to prevent you from having decision fatigue, and it's going to prevent a lot of confusion inside your business. What happens is when you join a program with some of these coaches is you are literally using their blueprint that they use to become extremely successful and have the money that you probably desire from them. What happens is that when you're done and you don't know what it is that you're supposed to be doing, if it didn't work for you while you had a coach, which very much is possible. I've had that experience where I've done exactly what it is that the coach told me to do. I showed up everywhere to the point where my coach was telling me how coachable I was and how I did everything that I was supposed to do, but it didn't work for me. I saw one sale out of the 6 months that I was with her. So if you're in that situation and then you leave the coaching program, what is it that you're supposed to do after that? There's no guidance. There's no system that you built on. So your business plan is really going to be the system and the structure that you use every single day that will help you stay consistent and prevent a lot of issues that you see inside your business, like overwhelm, like decision fatigue, and like not showing up consistently, which we all have struggled with, I'm sure. Are you saying not to use threads on IG? I'm a little confused by what you mean. I mean that you do not have to be on every single platform inside what social media offers you. The reason why I say that is because it will stretch you too thin. You want to look at your analytics, and based on your analytics, decide which platform is actually performing for you, with not just engagement and views, but also potential clients and leads and how many people you're talking to on a regular basis. If Threads is that platform for you, then continue to use Threads. If it's not, then you want to move on from Threads and not use it anymore because it's a waste of time and energy. Now, what I was saying prior to this is you want to pick a platform payment service it. So that means any platform or any app that allows you to receive payment. That is the most important essential that you need for your business. So this could be Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Stripe, or PayPal. I don't know what else is out there, but there are other things out there that you can in fact use. This is going to be so critical to your business. So I hope that answers your question, Catherine. Okay, so again, your plan and strategy. Your plan and strategy is going to be so important to what it is that you're going to do every single day. Every single day that I am working, I know exactly what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. I know exactly who it is that I'm supposed to be reaching out to. I know how many people I'm supposed to follow up with. And I continue to do that no matter what. Even if I'm having a really good day, even if I'm having a shitty day, it doesn't matter. I still show up and do those things as planned and as dictated by my business plan. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the third essential that you need. These I feel like are the most important. The reason why I believe that they're the most important is because being an entrepreneur is so uncomfortable. You really do have to step outside your comfort zone. You really do have to face all your insecurities. You really do have to show up on good days and on bad days. And so I really feel like courage and determination are so essential to you showing up in your business, but just essential to being an entrepreneur in general. You know, I feel like the determination is so important because when I was working a corporate job once upon a time in 2016 and 2017, when I started my first business, I would literally wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I would work out, do my morning routine, start working on my business, do a little bit of work that I could do, and then go to my corporate job, and then go home and probably run again, and then I would work in my business and start all over the next day and continue to do that and continue to grind it out. I know that there's a lot in the social media space that makes it seem like people are overnight successes, or that this is a quick get rich quick scheme, and it's not like that. And I feel like because we're only seeing certain things from people, entrepreneurs, especially in the feminine leadership space, we're seeing how, you know, people are just reading books and life is just so like real soft, if you will, and they're just making so much money. If you're not necessarily in that space, you're going to beat yourself up over, well, you need to be doing X, Y, and Z to make these things happen. And a lot of that is cut out the actual work. You are going to have to you are going to have to do the work. There is no replacement for doing the work. It doesn't matter how much you're in your feminine energy, you have to do the work. And unfortunately, the work can be extremely uncomfortable. It's not a lot of fun to show up when you're doing something new for the first time. It's not a lot of fun to show up and put yourself out there and wonder, okay, is my messaging on target? Or to show up in DMs, or to show up on sales calls, or to invite people to your product, or whatever it is that you have going on. That it can be so uncomfortable. I know, because I've been doing it for years and years and years. And I understand the resistance to wanting to show up, to sell to people, to not wanting to feel salesy and all of those things. To move past those things, it requires you to actually take action. It requires you to actually show up. You can't think that you're going to get better or more comfortable with certain things if you're not taking the action. And that's going to be so important. Okay, I agree. Okay, cool. I'm glad you do. Okay. Let's talk about 3 essentials to your plan. I talked about having your business plan and having a strategy and all of those things. Let's talk about the essentials to that plan so that you can start putting these pieces together right after this call, instead of waiting maybe for the 5-day reset or waiting for a strategy call or anything like that. So let's dive into that. You need to have an idea of who it is that you help. The reason why I say an idea of who it is that you help or serve or who you want to give your products to, right, is because you don't really know who your ideal client is until you've been working with some clients for a while, until you've actually had clients that have paid you, until you've had, you know, a few audits, or maybe you've done some other things that will allow you to see who it is that you really want as your client. So I know that there's a paperwork, right, and workbooks that you can use that tell you who your ideal client is and how to actually determine who that is. I have done those every time I've been in a program, every time I've been in a challenge, every time I've been in a masterclass, whatever a course. Never once have I actually used them. And the reason why I never actually used them is because it never actually helped me determine who I was working with. The people would always come to me and I would understand their pain points, their struggles, their desires. And then that helped me be able to shift my messaging towards those types of clients. And what you were really looking for when we're talking about ideal clients is, when we're looking at this, we're going to look for people that are doing the work depending on what it is that you're selling. They're going to do the work, but also they're going to show up. They're going to use the guidance that you're delivering to them, and they're going to be loyal. And a lot of that is not determined by where it is that they live, how old they are, or how much money that they're making. There has been so many times that I invested way before I was ever ready to make that type of investment. And so to say that someone has to make, $50,000 to $60,000 a year to be able to afford your program may not always work. And so I just kind of want you to be aware of this. Running with an idea of who you might help is going to be more useful in getting you going and getting you clients than it is to nail down an ideal client that is so far out in fantasy land that you're not even sure she exists at this point, right? Or you can't determine who's who from this ideal map out, right? The most important thing that you can be doing to determine who it is that you're actually going to be helping is talking to people. They are going to help you craft your messaging. They are going to help you craft your offers. They are going to help you determine who your ideal clients really are. And that's going to be so important for you to be aware of. Don't start doing busy work. Start talking to people. Start moving forward. That action and moving yourself forward is more important than trying to figure out who Nancy is, that's 37 years old, that has a family of 3 and lives in Delaware and all of these things, right? That's not helping you. It's just not helping you. All right. So the second thing that is essential to your plan that you need. A lot of you are already on social media. Social media is actually a nurture platform. What do I mean by this? I mean that you're actually going to be building a relationship with your potential clients and your audience. That means that you're building authority. That means that you're building trust. That means that you're proving that basically you know what the hell you're talking about. And so that is your nurture platform. That is what social media is. Do you need social media? I don't necessarily agree with that wholeheartedly. I do believe that it will make life easier as soon as you get it into a system that you can use like a machine. But again, we are going to get there at some point. But you use social media as a nurture platform, which the whole goal is to build relationships, connections, and make sales. What we don't see a lot in the online space especially is talking about an outreach strategy. What do I mean by an outreach strategy? That means that you are going to people and you're bringing them into your world. This means that you're reaching out to people maybe in the DMs. I do that a lot. I prefer that. This means that you might be using platforms like YouTube and Google because it's SEO. Now, again, that's not going to be as quick as reaching out to people in the DMs or even in emails, right? A lot of VAs actually present their proposals via email, which potentially could work. And that is an outreach strategy. What I believe to be the most underutilized outreach strategy is your in real life local community. Now, I live in a place that operates like a very small town, so sometimes this could be a little bit more difficult. But if you look for things like your Chamber of Commerce, if you look for women's networks, if you look on Meetup, there are all of these opportunities to meet with people inside your local community in real life. and you can begin to bring those people that you meet at these networking events inside your nurturing platform. So every time you meet someone new, every time you make a connection with someone that you're like, oh, this person could be my client, you bring them into your nurturing platform and you start to sell. You start to build this relationship and this connection with them, and eventually they become a client. And it's so important that you do that so that you are utilizing all opportunities to bring people into your world. Why do we want to do this? The reality is that social media is a saturated market. And I know that there's a lot out there that it's like, if you think that, then that's what it is, right? If you believe that, your thoughts create your reality and all of those things. Okay, but the reality is that social media really is a saturated place. If it's a saturated place, how are you going to stand out? That means that you're going to use other avenues that people are actually not using and underutilizing that could potentially change your whole life. I have built a community of people from my in real life community, bringing them into these platforms, and it has helped so much. And it has helped so much just on real live engagement or connecting with people. Sometimes we need that to just keep driving us forward in our business. So utilize those communities that are local and available to you. They're so important. Again, I was talking about an outreach strategy. When I understood this, everything changed, everything shifted. I learned how to immediately reach out to people and bring them into my world, and that helped me make more sales and show up even more. It's such a powerful tool and such a powerful way to help you stay committed and keep going forward. Yes, okay, yeah, we're loving this, okay. Okay. Let's talk about the third essential that you need to your plan. Now, this is going to be an offer. So maybe you have a product, that's fine, but it's going to be an offer or a product. You just really need one. Now, can you have multiple offers? Yes, absolutely. But again, if you are just starting, or if you have been struggling, or you kind of start and stop with your business, one offer is all you need to do, and I want you to sell the hell out of it. What do I mean by that? I mean everything that you're going to be talking about, every opportunity that you had, you're going to lead back to this offer. You're going to lead back to this program, to this product, whatever it is that you have going on inside your business. The reason why is you want to be talking about it often, every single day, every opportunity. Why do you want to do this? One, because it builds confidence. It builds confidence within yourself and being an entrepreneur and selling, but it also gives you confidence inside your program and what it is that you're selling. The more confident you are about what it is that you're selling, the easier it's going to be for you to sell. You've got to believe in your product. You can't believe in your product if you're not selling it, if you're not talking about it. Even if you're doing direct sales, where you're saying, I have my implementation program that's running on June 15th. I can take your payment now if you would like, right? This is what we're going to do. Or you can say something like, inside my implementation program, we actually work on this so that it can help you sustain your strategy so that you can move forward. So you know exactly what you're supposed to do over the next 30 days. You can do direct, you can do soft. What I tend to do, especially in the live trainings or even in any of my audits, I do soft selling. What does that mean? That means that I'm giving you an answer, a solution, and then I'm going to tell you how you can implement it, how you can dive deeper, how you can really create the solution that it is that you're looking for, which is ultimately clients and cash, right? So to get clients and cash, it's not always going to be about tips or tricks. It's going to be about implementation. It's going to be about doing. And so I'm going to represent that to you as I'm talking in these trainings, as I'm talking inside the audits. And I keep talking about it so you remember what it is that could be the next step for you as my potential client. That's going to be so important. But always talk about it. Post. Now, if you're like, I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to be annoying, I don't want people to think that that's all I care about, then I want you to take review or have reflection, if you will, on what it is that's coming up for you, because, you know, Target sells every day, Walmart sells every day, Starbucks sells every day. We see so many commercials for big businesses, and it's completely okay for them to sell every single day, right? I mean, it just is. Why is it not for you? And so if you were really struggling with that, this is actually a sign of a visibility wound. I've not done a networking event. So let me mark where we're at so I don't forget. Oh, we're right there. Okay. So networking events, especially in the online space, I feel like they kind of get a bad rap. And I think the reason why they get a bad rap is because people are really uncomfortable with in-person networking, small talk, so being like social, especially talking about a business. And I get it. I'm an introvert. I've said really stupid things before. I've also introduced myself as somebody else before, which is just fucking crazy. So I get it. I completely understand the social anxiety, not knowing what to say, trying to avoid the small talk. I get it. But it is absolutely worth it once you get used to it. So I recommend that you go in it doing small goals at a time. I'm just going to show up. Okay, this next time I'm going to show up and then I'm going to talk to a few people. I'm going to show up this next time and I'm going to talk to one specific person and sell my offer to them and bring them into my world. So you can do things like that. It's very helpful to do that. Okay, so we talked about your offer. Okay, let's talk about 3 essentials that you need for your energy. Obviously, I talk about being a regulated CEO, which I feel like is truly about feeling safe inside your body. Now, as someone who has a master's degree in psychology, and I've worked with women with trauma for years and years and years, feeling safe in your body is more important than your mindset. And I'm going to continue to say that. You'll hear me say that. I feel like it's so much more important. In order for you to be regulated, it's not about you being calm all the time, but it's about you being able to deal with the stress and come into neutrality. Deal with what's happening and then coming into neutrality. And that's going to be super important for you to be aware of as you are working on and embodying becoming a regulated CEO. So what are 3 essentials to this? Self-care. Now, self-care, again, people want it to be about bubble baths and getting your nails done and things like that. And I love that. I don't want you to stop doing that, but self-care has a purpose. And the purpose of self-care is regulation. I do a self-care routine pretty much every single day. And I promise you, I am a different person from the days that I do my self-care and the days that I don't. It is going to be so important to be able to do this so that you are really embodying the energy of being a regulated CEOs and ride the wave of being an entrepreneur. It's so important, so important. Number 2, something that helps you deal with stress. Okay, the reality is that stress is going to mess up your body. If you are not doing things to release that energy, to help you feel safe within your body, what's going to happen is the stress is going to eat at you. You're not going to feel good. You're going to feel really anxious and depressed. Your body is going to change. I know this because last year was one of the most stressful times of my life. I was in court with Aubrey's dad, and I was trying to finish my master's degree. Well, I did finish. I wasn't trying, but I did finish my master's degree. During that time, it was so awful and so stressful. I felt so awful all the time. Brain fog, all of these things, and I was still showing up, but I just felt awful. I do not recommend this to you. Unfortunately, I was in a space where no matter what I did, the stress was just not going away. But I don't want that for you. So you want to find a way to relieve stress. What do I do? What do I do to relieve stress? I'm a runner. I like to read. I turn everything off at 4 o'clock. Like, I'm done. I don't talk to anybody past a certain time. If I have follow-up days, which are Wednesdays and Fridays, I really don't respond to DMs like after 12 o'clock, depending on who it is, of course. So those types of things that I do for myself that allow me to stay regulated, allow me to stay committed, and prevent me from burnout. Now, inside the 5-day reset, we are actually going to talk about energetics along with foundations. And so if you would like to join us for the 5-day reset, let me get that link for you, because I would love to have you join us. The 5-day reset is a free 5-day challenge that will allow you to create calm consistency within your business while we're looking at business foundations. We start June 1st. Let me drop that link for you there. All right, there that is. Okay, so let's talk about the last one. And the last one, again, I feel like is more important than mindset. I feel like it's more important. It's the most important thing that you want to be working on. And there's things that you can do to actually help you feel more safe within your body. And that's the essential, to feel safe in your body. People, yes, of course, have limiting beliefs and issues with things like that, and your thought patterns, of course. But the biggest thing is that if you don't feel safe in your body, you're not going to allow yourself to receive. If you don't feel safe with money, you're not going to allow yourself to receive. If you don't feel safe being seen and heard, you're not going to allow yourself to receive. So feeling safe within your body is going to be the most critical thing that you do as a regulated entrepreneur. Now, there's a whole process to learning to become safe inside your body. This is something that I help my clients with inside my Healing Visibility Wounds. That is a 13-week one-to-one program. The investment for that is $3,500, though there is a payment plan available if you are interested in that. So that is available, but you do want to learn to become safe within your body so that you are consistently allowing yourself to receive and feeling good about being seen and heard and selling what it is that you do. So these are the essentials that you need as a regulated CEO inside your business. I would love to hear from you. If you're watching the replay, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I will get back to you. I encourage you to join the complimentary Calm Business Reset. Again, this is a 5-day challenge. We are going to go so deep into foundations and strategies and regulation and all of those things. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me in the DM, but this is what I have for you, and I will see you all later. Bye.